push record. Thank you. Well, welcome back to our little exploration of not practicing. Still not sure how to do that, but there are lots of guideposts along the way to help us, like Ken MacLeod's lovely little commentary.
That made me laugh.
Yeah. It's a good thing to laugh at. So tonight we're going to explore, they're called aspects. And I think somewhere I put numbers to them, but they're not really numbered. They're just all happening all at once. The posture, sense of calm, the clarity, and then what I call centeredness, or some people call non-dual non-dual, not even experience, just non-dual, or being constant, something that does that which doesn't change as everything else is changing. That's the constancy or the centeredness. So let's just, if y'all are down, let's just take a seat, and we'll just tune in for about 10 minutes of sitting practice. And then we'll do some Dao Yin. We'll just see how the Dao Yin might help us, even just in that aspect of Zhuo Wang, which is sitting. So finding your stable base, starting at your triangle. And remember, if you want some support under your knee so that that mound spring can touch down, that's burying the baggage of the past and allowing something fresh to rise up. And of course, if you prefer to sit in a chair, that's fine. Just have your knees spread apart so you have that triangular position. And as our hips and lower body are relating to the ground, to the earth, that which is dense and graspable, solid, material, just like the body. The back of the occiput is rising up, so the chin is slightly toward the chest. Your third eye point is slightly angled down below the horizon. And of the crown of your head is pretty much just in a long line, like it was being held from above. Relating to heaven, that which is not graspable, highly changeable, and you just begin to tune into the material aspect of you dropping toward the ground, and the etheric aspect of you rising into heaven. And as you do that, the spine naturally elongates. Remember that we have our eyes slightly open in this practice, as if you're looking from the back of your eyes through to the front. Soft gaze. We've got our teeth touching lightly with our lips together, and the tip of the tongue is resting on the roof of the mouth, either toward the teeth or farther back toward the soft palate. And then we come to the shoulders and the chest. Shoulders floating down and back, and the breastbone floating up. Your hands can be however you want them, maybe palms down. If you want to touch index fingertip to thumb tip, you could. You want to rest one hand in the other palm with the palms up. You can do that with the hands slightly angled toward the belly. And then we have our breathing, which is just soft and quiet. So as you let yourself come home here, coming home where you can rest and be yourself, if you want, you can invite your attention to 3 places in your abdomen and pelvis. The first place is it's about 2 or 3 fingers width below the belly button. That's called the sea of chi, the sea of energy. There's a point directly behind the belly button on the spine. That's called the gate of life. And then there's a point between the genitals and the anus. That's called the meeting of yin. So they make another triangle. In the front, just below the belly button, in the back, just behind the belly button, and in the base of the pelvis. And maybe tonight as you breathe, if there's something you want to focus on, you could just focus for a moment or two on breathing into that basin created by those 3 points. Otherwise, just sitting and coming home to yourself. Any questions or comments? Sarah.
Okay, so we're not meditating. But, and when we notice maybe that I don't know, is it like a thing where it's like you're just coming back to the points of posture to like keep relaxing?
For now, yeah. Yeah, you can use the points of posture as kind of an anchor to move the mind out of whatever thinking place it's going and back into the structure of the posture. And then just settling in, just like you came home and you're going to sit down and have a cup of tea and just notice what is here. So coming back to the context, you could say. But letting go, ultimately letting go of the focus of any of those 9 points of the posture and just coming home to rest. Yeah. Apparently, the more you practice, the easier it gets. Or the more the mystery of it becomes a little clearer. But the person I'm studying with says, you know, if you can practice an hour a day, that would really, over years, you'll just find what Swo Wang is. For now, that's as best I can say. It's as far as I've got. And Katie, I see your question about your body's response to the green soup. Yes, yes, yes. We can talk after the recording is over. Thank you for that question. Yeah, green soup is very interesting. And you have enough of it. Any other questions? Yeah.
The hour a day, is that broken up? Can it be broken up in pieces over the day, or is he talking about 1 hour all at once?
An hour all at once, but okay. Rachel, unless we're meeting in our group, it's hard for me to pin myself down for an hour. So I take it in 20-minute stints.
Yeah.
That's how I do it.
Okay.
And maybe someday an hour at a time will be just dandy for me. But yeah, because the other aspects, the sense of calmness and clarity, those come with a little bit longer. I've at least in the beginning here for me, I find they come with a longer sit. Not that they can't, they're always with us. It's just our ability to maybe not be distracted by all the other stuff going on in the mind and body. Well, let's come lie down. We'll do some like half an hour of Dao Yin. And you might recall that yesterday we started with a twist and then we did a backward bending pose. We're going to do that again tonight, just because it helps. Those two are really good for helping us be more comfortable in the posture, seated posture. Yes, so come lie down. I'm going to spotlight this video. Yesterday we did that twist that I call in my book the bamboo twist, but since I called it that, I've called it many other names. That's the one where we cross the leg and do some holding of the breathing while we twist. This one is a simpler version because it's not doing one side and then the other side. So I want to offer you some options that will help you want to practice Dao Yin, because it is pretty powerful, wonderful self-care. So every session would be great to start with a body scan. You can do that with your legs long if that's comfortable. If you need a prop behind your knees, you can take one, or a cushion under your head. Or you can stand your feet with your knees pointing to the sky. Whatever feels good, where you can come home to rest in your body on the ground. And you might recall that there are some specific points that we can open our attention to. One of them is simply noticing that we're resting on the ground and the ground is pushing back on us. So we have contact with the earth. And if you like scanning through your body from feet to head, you can do that, slowly scanning and just noticing what parts of you are touching down on the ground, and where do you leave the ground, a little or a lot. So just noticing your contact. The places that are lightly touching or lifted, it's possible they're holding some tension. So you can investigate that for yourself in those places that are lightly lifting or not quite settled down. So that's one thing you can attend to, is contact. Another thing you can pay attention to are just sensations. Tingling, vibrating, temperature, tightness, sharp feelings, achy feelings, soreness, softness, anything, any sensation you notice. Again, if you want to scan, you can scan, or you can just kind of take a snapshot. And when you feel satisfied tuning in with that, another thing you could, in addition or all on its own, is just to notice if you measure yourself, your length, your width, your weight, your loftiness. How's that? One side might feel different than the other as you measure yourself. You might notice you're tilted a little bit. Or maybe there's a twist in your body. And another thing we can pay attention to is our breathing. Just noticing whereabouts is it. Maybe you want to put a hand there where you feel it's moving most clearly. And what kind of breathing is that breathing? Okay, so these are just another encouragement, another opportunity to come home into yourself. Now, you might not necessarily like what you find in your house, but it's good to know what's there, what's here. Okay, so let's go ahead, just roll. If you've got your legs long, just kind of roll your legs in and out, or make some kind of movement that's spontaneous, feels good, or maybe it doesn't feel good, but it feels right. So whatever that is, give yourself a little stretch, a little movement. And then when you're ready, come to stand your feet. We're going to have our inner feet, ankles, calves, knees, and thighs touching. So there's no, very little space between your legs. And we'll open our arms out to the side, level with the shoulders. If at any point you want to put your arms overhead, you'll experience a different stretch. That could be really nice. So like I said, this is a more simple version of twisting, where we're going to exhale and just drop the knees. Remember to keep them touching, your legs touching each other. Drop your knees to one side as you exhale, and just feel where the movement is inviting you to open up. And then inhale, roll back onto your back. Knees point to the sky. And then exhale, go the other way. Keep the legs touching. And check in on this side where this movement is inviting you to open up. And then inhaling, knees come back, pointing to the sky. And exhaling, you twist again. They're just alternating sides, and your head can go either with or away from your knees. Start out slowly. And if you want, you can go a little faster. Just breathe faster as you move faster. You might find yourself sliding along the ground. Go ahead and slide. And then do a few where when you come to inhale, when your knees are pointing to the sky, hold your breath as you twist side to side. Keep holding the breath in as you twist until you can't hold it anymore. And then when you're ready to exhale out the mouth, do so while you're in a twist. And then inhale, come back up. And we're going to come back to body scan. So we know what the movement was inviting us into when we paid attention while we were in the twist. Now we get to see what the response was. You might have a favorite of some of those things that we explored. Maybe you really like tuning into contact. Or maybe you really like tuning into sensation or measuring yourself, your dimensions. Or maybe you like the breathing or some combination. Just go ahead and tune in to yourself. Check if anything's different. And if there is a difference, what kind of difference is that? This could be a sense of calmness or restlessness, a state of mind. Okay, when you feel satisfied with your inquiry, your exploration, once again, whatever movement comes freely. Oh, might be a yawn. Let yourself have that movement, or let the movement have you. You know, at some point you put babies on their back, and at some point they're going to start to roll. Roll. If you've ever watched a baby, it takes a long time for them to finally roll over, and quite a bit of effort at first. So just rock yourself. And then at some point, you get enough momentum that you roll onto your side. And then we're going to roll onto the belly. So tonight we'll do a little bit of a different back bend to open up the spine and the shoulder blades. Because remember, one of the 9 points is to have your shoulders relaxing back and down and your chest open. So here, let your legs come long. You're resting on your tummy. We're going to fold our right arm so that your right elbow is bent, and then your left arm is going to come rest alongside your body on the left side. If it is easy on your left shoulder, you could put the back of your left hand in the saddle of your low back. If that's easy on your shoulder, and if it's not, arm rests by your side. We're going to rest the left cheek on the back of the right hand so that you can look at your right elbow. You see your right elbow? And last night we did a very similar movement where we were breathing into our low back, so we might feel the low back as it were a balloon expanding upward and outward with the breath in. And then as you exhale, that low back just sinks down again, creating that saddle. If you've got your left hand back there, as you breathe, you can feel the left back of the left hand rising up on the in-breath. And floating back down on the out breath. Next in breath, go ahead and lift your upper body, including your right arm, any amount off the ground. So like a little back bend here. Inhaling, lifting up, and exhaling, floating back down. Keep your cheek resting on that right hand. And go again, breathe into your low back, lift up, turn your eyes to look over your right shoulder like you could look back and see your feet. And then exhale, come down. And again, just keep going here. Inhale up, look over your right shoulder as if you could see your feet. Does a leg or both legs want to come up? So it might be your left leg that feels a little light and floaty. You let it lift and then exhale, come down. Relax your muscles. Inhale up again. One or both legs, turn those eyes. When you come down, relax. And go one more time. Come down and rest. And roll onto your back. Let's take a little scan. So right side and left side might feel different. Check in with yourself. You can also check in with your lungs. Your right lung might feel different than your left lung. Your right kidney might feel different than your left kidney. When you're ready, maybe standing your feet wider than your hips, you're going to roll again, or you can hug knees into your chest. But just like a baby, getting curious about the world you've landed in, you start to want to roll onto your tummy. So go for it. This time we'll have our left elbow bent to the left. We'll have our right arm alongside the body, or if you're okay in your right shoulder, you can put the back of your right hand in the saddle of your low back. Right cheek is resting on the back of the left hand. And you see your left elbow? Start just by inviting the breath into your low back. These movements open up, like I said, the shoulders and the neck and the chest. Whenever you're ready, first you feel your low back riding the wave of the breath. Then you can add lifting the upper body away from the ground any amount as you inhale, and then exhale, come down and really relax those muscles. So when you come up, you can tune in to, gosh, what muscles am I using here to lift myself up? And the more you practice, the more you'll discover, like, hey, wait a minute, I don't know that I really need to use those muscles. Maybe I can just kind of ride the wave of energy or my breath, or I use the muscles in a more subtle way. Turn the eyes to look over your left shoulder as if you could see your feet. And if at any point your right leg wants to come with you, or maybe both, then you lift the leg or the legs. Relax. If you want to go one more time, go for it. If you feel ready to roll onto your back, come and do another body scan. Any places that feel really heavy and in contact with the ground, those are probably the ones that not only did a lot of work, but also relaxed when you did your relaxation. You can check in with your lungs again and your kidneys. If one side feels more heavy than the other, again, that might be the side that did more of the work. And is now ready to rest. Okay, we've got time for just one more Daoyin practice. We're going to stand the feet again and draw the knees into your chest. Thread your arms between your legs and grab hold of the top of your ankles. Right hand grabs the right ankle, left hand grabs the left. You're not crisscrossing your arms. As you inhale, squeeze the inner thighs and knees toward each other. Feel that the front shoulders are also squeezing toward each other as you open up your shoulder blades and your sacrum. And then as you exhale, we're going to let the legs release toward the ground. Let the back shoulders come to rest on the floor. So inhaling to pinch up the front and open up the back. And exhaling to open up the front. Just go back and forth on your own here, breathing. This is nice because it helps open up the inner thighs. Sometimes that can help with sitting. Inhaling, you do the work of a squeeze. While you're holding tension, you can hold the breath in for a moment and then exhale. If you want, you can sigh out the mouth. Ah. Squeeze and pinch and hold the breath. And last time. Open up. And inhaling in, draw your thighs toward each other, slip your arms to the outside of your legs. Give yourself a little hug. Rock a little side to side. If you want, you can give your knees some love by putting your fists or your forearm in the space at the back of the knee, just giving a little opening to the knee joint as you rock side to side here. Okay, then pick a side. You're going to roll onto it and come up to sitting. And as you just come back to a seated position, oh, we forgot a body scan in there. Well, let's do it here. Just check in with yourself once again. Of course, our contact with the ground is different because we're sitting instead of lying down. But you can still notice sensations. You can notice your breathing. Just checking in with the shape of you. And just overall, how you feel, state of mind, state of body. And we can come back to those 9 points of sitting. Checking in with your stable base, your occiput, the back of your head, gently lifting, the chin slightly dropping toward the chest. And between the stable base dropping and the back of the head lifting, you've got a long and lively spine. And the eyes are slightly open, jaws with the teeth together, soft lips, and the tongue curling. Each time I meditate is the first time I meditate. And relaxing shoulders back and down to lift a relaxed chest open. Hands are in a natural position. And the breathing is soft and quiet. So here we can tune into a sense of calm. Calm is like stable ground. From the stable ground rises a floating mist. And this calm will naturally reveal itself from time to time when we are most relaxed without effort or intention. And clarity might also be revealed in our sit. Again, arising spontaneously, kind of like if you shake a jar that has little sparkly bits in it and water, as it sits, all those sparkly bits come to settle, yielding very crystal clear water. An unobstructed view. So we'll just sit here, sitting for a few moments, and then, well, actually, let's go for about 5 minutes again. I'll ring the bell and then we'll add in one other little practice tonight. But for now, just coming home to yourself. So remaining on the inside, this is an invitation to Zhuo from one of my teachers, who referred to Zhuo not only as sitting and forgetting, but sitting in oblivion. And the invitation is to recall at the end of each day to reflect on any highly charged experiences. So these could be emotionally charged, they could be revelations, could be sensations in the body, any highly charged experience. And he was saying that these charged experiences that we have are the result of the rehearsals of our thoughts. If we're unaware of thoughts, they tend to repeat themselves through our behavior and experience. And these are the things we want to notice and then forget. That's the forgetting part. So to become conscious of the thought pattern and to forget it. In this way, when we start to let go of thought patterns, we can have new possibilities of experience as we open to new thoughts. These thoughts, the ones that we will benefit from having, will naturally arise in us. So for now, as we continue for another 10 or so minutes, if you want to come into yourself, come home and rest. And if you want to just reflect on today, any highly charged experiences, see if you can notice what the thought may have been that precipitated or came along with that experience. And then forget about it. Forget the thought. And just come back to being at home. I invite you just to roll back onto your back for a moment. If it's comfortable to stretch out. Just to stretch out here, you can put arms overhead and let your front ribs just settle back down toward the ground. Maybe feel getting a little longer through your body. If you want to stretch your arms away from legs and legs away from arms, you can. Just give yourself a good stretch here. Walk your legs over to the left and your upper body over to the left for a moment. Take a couple of breaths. And then walk over the legs to the right and walk your arms over to the right. And again, a few breaths here. And then back to center. Any kind of movement that comes to you that would feel good. And then when you're ready, coming back to seated position. Remember, if you can wait a little while before drinking any water, you might just want to gather up the juices in your mouth right now and swallow that saliva. Any observations or questions from that?
Just doing the Dao Yin felt really good. And like I could just tell from when we sat the first time to the second time, like how much more I could feel that lightness coming up this morning. Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
that's really nice.
thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How was the forgetting part? If there was anything, any thoughts that you wanted to forget? First notice and then forget them. There are a couple of mindfulness practices. One of them is you can put the thought into like a balloon and then imagine the balloon floating up way into the sky. You can't see it anymore. Or another one is dropping the thought like a stone into a vast well. And again, watching it. You can't see it anymore. Maybe you hear it go kerplunk at the bottom. And then just coming back to home. All right, lovelies, are you ready for, well, Sarah, you're not ready for bed, but
I could be ready
you
for sure.
could be.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, my dear. So we'll be back tomorrow evening Yeah, with a little bit of a longer sit. So we'll do some more Dao Yin, different flavor of Dao Yin, and to help us in the seated posture, and then we'll sit a little longer tomorrow. In the meantime, send me an email if you've got a question. And Katie, I'm happy to stay on. Okay, thanks everybody.